Before we get started, I need to ask the chat a question. All right? It's a very important question. It's not that important, but let's start a poll. Will the Spurs reach 40 wins this season? All right? Leaving that in the chat. Do with that as you will. And we'll look at the results after the segment. So what I want to do is I'm going to start off with going over the game, as always. But most importantly, actually, not really even going over the games. Most importantly, just talking about the narrative I've seen around Devin Vassell and the team as a whole, and just how recency bias really bothers me. Okay? It really irks me to no end. And it's always been like this. I've always been bothered by it. It's like a pet peeve of mine. And it's a continuous theme on this channel, right? I mean, we can go back to the Derek White days. It was the same exact thing, okay? So I want to talk about that. We'll take a second to talk about our sponsor, BetUS, as always. So shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this segment. And then we'll take a look at this poll and see what some of you guys had to say about this game. But obviously, as I'm going through this, if anything stands out, you know, I'll respond to it. So this game in particular, do I care about it? Not really, but the Spurs did lay a stinker. They absolutely did. Started off the game very hot, destroying the Pelicans, played phenomenal defense. And to be fair, Pelicans only had 109 points by the end of the game, so it's not like the Spurs were, you know, horrible defensively. But, you know, second, third, and fourth, they just didn't match the same amount of intensity and consecutive baskets as the Pelicans did. So what stood out? Why did we lose? Well, honestly, funny enough, it kind of feels like, I know someone in the chat earlier said that this feels like the old days of the Spurs or whatever, but kind of like this is a team that's not really accustomed to being together, right? Like the Spurs of a few years ago. It's a team where, you know, you have quite a few young guys, but you have some new guys. I mean, this lineup is terrible. I still don't understand it. I don't like Devin Vassell being relegated to small forward when you don't have to. But hey, it is what it is. And yeah, every single night it feels like it could be someone new that you can blame, right? You can blame the coach, or you can blame Devin Vassell, which has been happening a lot, or you can blame De'Aaron Fox, or you can blame, you know, Sochan because he didn't make a specific shot at a specific time in the game, or whatever you want, whoever you want to blame. You can just toss the blame around everybody. Okay, so as you guys know, I am not super high on Keldon Johnson. I've been continuously constant with that. Like I have not got off of that just because of a game or two where he does well. Funny enough, someone in the chat earlier said that, you know, Keldon is back to his original role, in which being a go-to guy on a bad team, and that's what he's most comfortable with. That is very funny. Obviously, it's a joke. A little accurate, but obviously it's a joke. But I'm not going to sit here in these games. I can't sit back and be like, this is Keldon's fault that we lost this game. It's rarely one player's fault. And especially when the team is made up like this right now, it is never one player's fault. But in this game in particular, if you wanted to pass the blame to anyone, probably De'Aaron Fox. I mean, he was kind of out of it. Funny enough, his defense was so good that it made up for it a little bit. But 6 turnovers, and they were bad turnovers, guys. I mean, it weren't possessions like, oh my God, the Pelicans just D'd us up. Not really. A lot of it was just his mistakes, which was kind of tragic. But he also has 6 steals, right? So kind of even itself out. And overall, defensively, he played well. He had 9 assists. He had some clutch shots at the end, or a clutch shot at the end. So, you know, take that as you will. But I do want to talk about the immense hate that Devin Vassell has been getting. Now, this is not a segment in which I'm going to say, haha, look at the numbers. He had 20 points. Because the fact of the matter is this: he's going to be inconsistent. He just is. He's going to be inconsistent. I think that when you bring up reasons for this, people automatically say that's just an excuse. And then they just want to jump to, oh, it's because he's soft. He's a soft player. He's garbage. He's soft. He's a bum. And I'm like, no, there could be legitimate reasons why Devin Vassell is so inconsistent sometimes with his scoring, right? And one thing that comes to mind, at least for me, is the injury that he suffered in June with the stress fracture, re-agitating it, I think during the season, right? So he's been kind of in and out. He was on minutes restriction at one point, and now he's trying to get back in his groove. And, he's already a player that struggles with confidence, very similar to Derek White, my favorite player since Manu, mind you. But hey, it is what it is. I just think that there are certain things that could be playing a contributive factor to why we've seen a pretty inconsistent Devin Vassell. But even with the inconsistency, I still think that it's gone a little too far. Like, I saw someone comment, or they responded to my comment on Twitter, in which I've been the last few days just been constantly going at people about the amount of hatred towards Devin Vassell. If you want to know what I'm talking about, which, it was many conversations, but the one that bothered me the most, because I was just trying to prove a point when we were going live, how a lot of people are prisoners to the moment, is a poll that I did. I recently did a poll in which I asked, who would you take right now? Here we go. I said, who would you rather have, Devin Vassell or Jonathan Simmons? In which 40% of people out of I think that's a pretty good sample size, right? 700 people. This is just on Twitter. I'm sure if we did a poll on the channel, it would be way more people. But 40% said Jonathan Simmons. You guys really need to understand how insane it is to choose Jonathan Simmons over Devin Vassell. You can try to give me any type of explanation that you want, but talent to talent, talent for talent, Simmons only lasted in the NBA 4 seasons. That's it. He didn't come back. He only lasted 4 seasons. And also, he was much older than Devin Vassell when he left. I think he was 20. Was he 25 when he first? You guys can let me know. I think he was maybe 26 when the Spurs first got him. So he was an older player, and he wasn't that good. Like, he played hard, and he had a cool story, and I like Jonathan Simmons, but he wasn't that good of a player. So it's very disturbing to me that people will look back at the Spurs when they were winning, right? And just take a random player and say, yeah, I would take them over Devin Vassell. Let me be clear. Devin Vassell is the best shooting guard the San Antonio Spurs have had since Manu Ginobili. And I know some people will say, what are you talking about? What do you mean? That's crazy. Think about it. What shooting guard has the San Antonio Spurs had since Manu that you would classify as better than Devin? Maybe some people will say Danny Green? Maybe? Whoa. No, I don't. That's not crazy at all. He ain't half the player Manu is. Guys, no. You're telling me to slow down. Think about it. He's the best shooting guard. Okay, tell me who's a better shooting guard. Derek White was a point guard. Danny Green, I just said Danny Green. Danny Green's the only one that people would maybe reasonably say that with. But after Manu, Danny Green's very inconsistent after Manu. Like, he was a phenomenal role player. Don't get me wrong, but who was a shooting guard after Manu? Exactly. He's the best shooting guard since Manu. Period. Danny and Derek White. Derek White was not a shooting guard. And Danny Green, I think you can actually have a conversation about that. I won't take anything away from Danny, because I think Danny was a phenomenal defender. But you can have a conversation about that. After Manu, Josh Primo. You don't have an actual answer. Some people say DeRozan. DeRozan's a small forward. He's not a shooting guard. Just think about it for a minute. Most people will agree if you actually just sit back and think about it. He's the best shooting guard the San Antonio Spurs have had since Emmanuel Ginobili. I think that. I personally think that. No, I mean, you're just saying no, but like, anyways. Besides the point, okay? I know that that's a strong statement to make. Or at least it sounds strong, but I don't think it's that crazy of a take. Marco Bellinelli? No, I would take Devin Vassell over Marco Bellinelli. DeJounte Murray is a point guard, and I prefer Devin Vassell over DJ. DeRozan was considered a shooting guard, small forward. DeRozan is considered a small forward, power forward. DeMar DeRozan position. Oh crap, it went away. You saw it though, right? It said it. It said it. Guys, you're trying to tell me, oh, he was a shooting guard. No, he wasn't. He was small forward. You don't remember being super irritated and angry about who was our shooting guard? Do you guys recall who was the shooting guard at that time? Everyone cried about who was the shooting guard. Are you serious? This guy. Hold on, actually, this would be funnier. It's not a funny situation, but this would be funnier if I brought this up. Where is it? Hold on. Bear with me, guys. I promise this joke is worth it. It's not really that worth it, but this guy. This was the shooting guard. That guy. He was the shooting guard. And everyone was angry about it. I remember, because it was like nonstop. Everyone hated the shooting guard for that team. He wasn't the point guard. What position did they have Bryn Forbes in? That guy. Yeah, this guy. This guy. Who's that? Okay, just for context, you just became a fan recently because of Wemby, man. I said he's the best shooting guard since Manu, and you said that's crazy. What? But you just started watching the Spurs. Yeah, Bryn Forbes. Yeah, Bryn Forbes. Yeah, there you go. Anyways, just think about it. Yeah, he was the best shooting guard since Manu. Anyways. I think he's a very good player. I think Devin Vassell is a good player. But anyways, what I was trying to say was a lot of people will jump to just saying he's trash, he's garbage, he's terrible, and not really give any reasons that might be the case. I also had some people saying that, well, Clan, the only problem I have is that you expect so much out of Keldon Johnson. But then Devin Vassell has some struggles, and you don't get onto him as hard. And someone also said, well, you said you typically give players 4 years to prove themselves, and then you get more harsh. All that is true, but not all of it is true. The first part, let me address that. First and foremost, I don't expect Keldon to get any better. I do expect Devin Vassell to be better. And that's actually the difference, because I honestly feel like Keldon Johnson's best isn't necessarily good enough, especially when it's in the context of playing next to Wemby. It just hasn't shown itself to look that great, right? But the better version of Devin Vassell that I've seen thus far with Wemby works. It looks good. I just don't think that he's a second option. I think he's a third or fourth option, right? Like that's how I feel about him. So I'm not going to be as harsh right now. And also the whole thing with, well, you said that usually you give them 4 years. Well, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. And his fourth year was phenomenal. I thought he was very good last season. Like genuinely really good last season. And even then, the year before that, he barely played. He didn't even get to 40 games that season. So I think it's totally fine for me to sit back and have a little bit patience off of a down year of Devin Vassell. Lord knows that my favorite player of all time had down years. My favorite player of all time had some stinkers sometimes. It happens. It happens. You just got to give them some time. Oh, I didn't even say who my favorite player is. You guys should know, though. It's Manu Ginobili. He's my favorite player of all time. And I remember some seasons where he didn't look the best, right? One in particular was the 2010-2011 season, in which he did 30 minutes, 43%, 34.9% from three, I mean, the 34.9 isn't bad, but like this is almost identical to what we're getting from Devin Vassell shooting wise. And that's what everyone's been upset about, right? And then also you had the 2013 season, or was it 2014? Wait. Oh, no. 2013, 2012, 2013 season when you shot 42.5%, 35% from three, about identical to what you're getting from Devin Vassell, right? And I know some people will say, well, it's only 23 minutes here. But, I mean, even if you go to the season with 30 minutes, yeah, the percentages aren't the best. So, even the best of the best players can have some inconsistencies throughout their career. And I don't think that we need to just take that one season and throw them in the dumpster, right? I don't think you take that one season and just say, hey, they're absolutely garbage. They're terrible. They can't work on this team. I don't think that's true with Devin. Now, am I one that's going to advocate for Devin to stay on this team and he's untouchable no matter what? I don't think that. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. If the right opportunity presents itself, yeah, he could be traded. But for now, I think I'm totally cool with it. I'm totally cool with him. Cool with it. You know what I mean? That's just how I feel about it. So I think Devin fits. I think that he is shown to fit. I think that he is shown that he can have like genuine value to this team when all cylinders are hitting. But we got to wait and see next season when we have a little bit more talent. But I bring all that up to bring this up because I do find it kind of strange how Devin and even Sochan, right? People kind of let off the Sochan stuff. I don't know. I think since Zach Collins is gone, you're trying to just find new people to blame for things. But Sochan and Devin Vassell, the amount of hate that Vassell has gotten lately and the amount of hate that Sochan has gotten lately, you don't really see that directed in Castle's direction, which I agree with that. I don't think he should get any hatred. I genuinely don't. I think he's super young. But that's the same way I feel about Sochan as well. Steph Castle is what, guys? 20. He was kind of an older freshman going to the draft. But he's 20? Or is he 21 now? He's 20, right? And Castle just turned 20? Okay. And then Jeremy Sochan is 21? Yeah, he's 20. And that means Jeremy Sochan is 21. Basically the same age. Yeah, 21. Basically the same age. So I just don't quite understand. I don't understand the line of judgment here when it comes to the young players, right? I think Sochan is very valuable. I think Castle will be very valuable. And I think that Vassell has shown, if you want to say glimpses, that's fine. But I think he's shown last season how good he can be, right? And I think it's fine after an injury and after so many shifts of everything, because this has been a rough season, guys. I mean, not only do we have the Devin Vassell injury, right? But we have Popovich stroke. We have Wemby's clot. We have Vassell being in and out of the lineups. We have bad rotations. Let's keep that in mind as well. Bad rotations. We got new players on the team, right? Chris Paul is a brand new player on the team. Harrison Barnes is a brand new player on the team. Now we have Fox in the mix. I mean, it's just kind of an ugly season. It's a promising season as far as what's coming forward, right? We know that Wemby will be okay. News is that Popovich is probably more than likely going to retire, but we assume that. I mean, I assumed that. But yeah, I mean, it's just a rough season all the way around. So I'm completely cool with Devin Vassell getting as many reps as possible and it being as ugly as it can. It has to be, right? Because I'm cool with it, because not only do we have a really great draft coming up, but also I think Devin really, really needs these reps after that injury. I mean, he really needs it, guys. It is pretty bad. It is pretty bad. Didn't see a lot of people hating after this game, but it really shows you that it just comes down to an arbitrary number, because 6 for 16 isn't good. But people came out. I saw people on on Twitter like, oh, finally Devin Vassell is back. He went 6 for 16. He's still in his slump. That's not a good percentage. That's not good. It's just this 20 number, this arbitrary 20 points that he had. I don't think that this was a much better game than what we've seen. People kind of exaggerating, saying he's been on 20. He's a 20 game streak of him being terrible. That's not true. It's been a few games, maybe like five or six. But yeah, look, I say all that to say this. I think that some of the hatred has gone too far. I think it's totally cool to criticize players. I do it all the time. God knows. I mean, I just told you guys De'Aaron Fox was awful today. When you go to far as to say like someone's a bum or they're trash and they need to be off this team, what is a bum to a lot of people? Because I don't think Vassell is a bum at all. I think he's immensely talented on the offensive end. I think that he gives a lot of talent a lot of effort on the defensive end. And for people to say like he's soft and this, that, and the third, I just don't know where that's coming from, honestly. I don't know what you've seen that makes you think that that's, I don't know. You're just in love with him? Vassell? That is so crazy to say, bro. That is so crazy. Like, Vassell is one that I haven't been... My hype train... Like, I'll accept if you say you're in love with Jeremy Sochan. I'll accept that, okay? Because I genuinely do love Sochan's game. I genuinely love it. And I will go to bat with arguing people in chat and Twitter, wherever, about Sochan. Vassell? I feel like I've always been pretty reasonable when it comes to Vassell. I just think you guys just want me to... You're angry about this season. You're angry about the losing. And you want to pin that on somebody. And you want to pin that on Vassell. Because he's the one that's been struggling. And he's the one making the big bucks, right? Or second highest paid right now on our team. 29. But it's going down to 27, then 24. So it's a pretty good contract. Just is a front-loaded contract. But I'm sitting back and I'm saying, hey, it could be reasons for it. I'm not going to immediately jump to, oh, he's a soft player. I don't believe that. I don't think he's shown that. But also, and maybe it's also a matter of expectations as well, right? So, like, for instance, my expectations for Devin Vassell for the first few years of his career, here, I'll just bring up the stats again. First few years of his career, I actually wasn't that high on Devin Vassell. Like, pre-draft, I was very high on Sochan, right? I was. Before the Spurs got him, before we knew the Spurs were going to get him, but before we knew anything, I was very high on him when I was talking about draft prospects that year. I really wanted Sochan. But Devin, I never really felt that way. I thought that he would end up just being kind of a catch and shoot role player, and that'd be that on that, right? That's how I felt after the first 2 years, and I said that's fine. The third year he showed glimpses where I was like, what the heck? Okay, he can create a little bit, and then this last year, it was like, whoa, he can create his own shot and create for teammates at a pretty high clip. It's pretty impressive, especially when he's healthy. And I was impressed. I was like, whoa, maybe my expectations were too low. And now he's having a down season, and my expectations are, kind of in the middle. It's not as low as it was. It might not be as high as it was at the beginning of last season, but it's like right there. It's like right underneath that. And I think that's good enough, as long as he's a third or fourth option on the team. And you got to keep in mind, we're in the middle of a rebuild right now. So being obsessive over Devin Vassell's contract, especially when what players are making today is not even touching what players made back in the Tim Duncan era. Like, it's not even touching. It's about to be on a whole nother level, right? So to start comparing his contracts to previous Spurs players, it's just silly, man. A Supermax nowadays is going to go for about 60-something million, right? So all things considered, and you look at the talent range around where Devin Vassell is, I think he's making about what you would expect for a player of his talent. And we'll be okay. Wait, we're still rebuilding? Yes! It doesn't take long. It's not taking long for the Spurs. This is the quickest rebuild I've ever seen in my entire life. But yes, they are still rebuilding. Yes. But I think one more draft to do the trick, though. I think after this year, obviously we'll still have a young team. I'm not expecting like a championship by the end of next season. But after this season, or after this next season, no more excuses, right? We'll start going hard on the team. All right, it's time for playoffs. It's time for championships. It's time for us to get this thing popping. But right now, undoubtedly, this is a rebuild. Look at our roster. Who's gonna stick around? You want me to believe that this is the team of the future? Come on. De'Aaron Fox will be here. Probably Devin Vassell. Sochan, Keldon's very questionable. I mean, they were already looking to move him. Castle will be here, right? They made an effort there. But a lot of these players, I'm not 100% or 100. I can't speak 100% sure that Mamu will be here. Not 100% that Champagny will be here, even though I think that he is very valuable for his price range. Harrison Barnes won't next few years. Chris Ball won't. Biombo won't. You know, it's a lot of spaces to be filled. It seems like the Spurs are no longer high on Malachi and Blake. I don't know what's going on with that. So they probably won't be here. Yeah, you're definitely in a rebuild. A lot of new pieces. We should go get Nas Reed. I have been seeing a lot on that, and I absolutely agree. I believe the Spurs were high on Nas Reed before, so I can see that happening. Missing Lucas Samanic right now. Now, talking about soft, Lucas Samanic did play soft. All right? He did play soft. How, though? How are we still in the rebuild? You don't have enough talent. I mean, the reason why the Spurs have so many great draft picks and why they set it up like this is because they have a timeline. This next draft is supposed to kind of, fill this bad boy up, and we're good. We're about good to go at that point. But yeah, you just don't have enough talent. You're still in the rebuild. That's okay. Shoot, and now it looks like we might be looking for a coach. All right, so I'll take a look at the draft. I mean, not the draft, I'm sorry. The chat in a minute. Really quick as always. You guys know we got to talk about today's sponsor really quickly, really briefly. Shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this segment, as they always do so beautifully. So we go to basketball here. I don't think there's anything Spurs related. Got some NBA specials here. We got a Kyrie Irving one. NBA championship futures. Cooper Flag. Got a Cooper Flag here. All right, so Cooper Flag, they're giving them pretty decent chance to go to the San Antonio Spurs. I think as of right now, Cooper Flag, there's like a 3%. I'm pretty sure that's how it works, right? It's a 3% chance he goes to San Antonio. A 3% chance he goes to the Atlanta Hawks, right? Or something like that. I don't know. So what? He has probably about a 6% chance to come to San Antonio. I like those odds. But if you wanted to bet on it, 10 to give you 90. I can do the math here. I hate that this little chat with us thing pops up like that. 10 to give you 90, right? And I think that's a fair bet. Place that bad boy. Hit confirm. But if you guys are interested in BetUS at all, head on over and use promo code YouTube150. You'll receive 150% bonus on your first deposit, 125% bonus on your second and third deposits, up to $2,000. And you guys are absolutely right. Odds are going to increase. Yeah. It's 4.5% now. All right. We're kind of popping then. All right. Good stuff. All right, let's take a look at what this poll had to say. I said, oh my God. Should I ask the better question? Oh, you guys can't see this. Yeah, so I asked, will the Spurs reach 40 wins this season? And we got 94% no. I wasn't expecting it to be that high. I should have went lower. Maybe I was thinking about myself, in which I had us going 44 at the beginning of the season. But wow. Okay. Maybe 20 years ago, but no. Why would you want to win? I was pretty neutral on it, right? Before the season, like I wasn't pro tank like I was before, right? I just wanted everything just lay out how they lay out, right? I was just cool with it going how it goes. Now I was very pro tank when the Wemby sweepstakes. I was arguing with people every live stream. Like, it was such stupid takes, man. Oh, you only have this % chance of getting them, so why just lose now? You have to win. You have to try to win. It's like, screw that. Let's lose. What are we talking? It's Wemby. Why would you win? I was getting irritated when the Spurs were winning on accident. It's like, lose games, man. Let's lose. Let's suffer for a season. It's okay. It's just how the system is. You have to lose. Gosh. Funny enough, there's people still complaining about it. It was someone, I won't call them out, but it was someone on Twitter. And, you know, they comment on my stuff and they were like, you Spurs fan, you just have loser mentality ever since the tanking season. You just constantly have this thought that you could get a good player. It's like, you realize we got Wemby, right? Like, if it was up to a lot of these Spurs fans, these anti-tank Spurs fans, I swear to God, we would have nobody on the team, bro. We would have nobody. We would have DeJounte Murray, DeAndre Ayton, and Ben Simmons. I think that's what people were trying to go for when we had DeJounte. They were like, let's build around DeJounte. Let's not worry about anything. We just build around DeJounte. We would literally be the most mediocre team imaginable. We would be mediocre for years. Years, bro. We will be mediocre forever if it were up to Spurs fans. That's why I wanted to lose. It's okay to want your team to lose for the future. And that's the problem, man. Too many people become prisoners of the moment. They stay in this constant state of, what have you done for me lately? It's so bad. It's so bad to the point where you can take I don't mean to just take it back to this, but you could take a very talented player in Devin Vassell, let him go on a 5-game rough streak. Let him go on a 5-game rough streak. And everyone says how trash and garbage he is. They will just say he is the most trash, awful player in the world. And you go earlier in the season and you can see, oh no, he had his moments. He had his moments here. He had some pretty good showings. 9 for 18, 7 for 13, 7 for 13. You know, he's streaky. He had his moments. But you can't even speak, like, when during a stretch like this, you can't even say, hey guys, maybe like he's a 3rd, 4th option, and maybe there's, you know, the injury he's dealing with, and, you know, that's quite a lot, and, you know, I'm sure that's pretty painful. You know, stress fractures, you know, don't typically heal after about a year, I believe. So, you know, maybe that's it. No, he's just trash. He's just garbage. Like, everyone is a prisoner of the moment, man. Think about the future for a second, all right? He could work. I can see him working. All right, let's see what some of these peeps in the chat are saying. What are you guys saying? Nah, Vassell been bad. He's had a bad season. He had a down season. But I swear, no one in the chat. If I said Vassell was trash last season, do you guys understand how much hatred I would have gotten? If I said Vassell was trash, people speak so reckless, man. And then they take it as this. Now, this is what really gets me. Okay, I'm ranting a little bit now. This is what really gets me. And then people will say, well, we need to just hold these players accountable. Okay, yes, you calling Devin Vassell garbage, trash, and he should be traded on Twitter will surely make him a better player. It will surely help him. Yes, that's definitely going to help. Thank you for contributing. What are you talking about? You can say he's been bad, that's fine, but like, why we gotta jump to like he's soft and all of that? Like, come on, bro. Why do we have to do that? And I know I'm harsh about Keldon, but it's literally because I just don't think we're going to get much out of this. I'll just be honest with you. But I think we can get something out of of Devin. Actually, funny enough, right now, if it were up to a lot of these Spurs fans, Wemby would be the only person on the team. It would be Wemby and a bunch of draft picks on the floor. Just cards with like draft numbers on them. And Wemby. I just don't think people can evaluate how talented a player is that well. Or don't really value it, There's no, and this is going to be controversial too, okay? Just like the Manu comment. But right now, there's no rush. Now, if Devin Vassell after next season is, putting up the same, I won't say the same stats because 15 points is fine. But if his efficiency numbers, especially his field goal percentage, is still this low, I think the Spurs should start considering, moving him if it's after next season, right? But like I said, there's no rush right now. Who is this player that you're about to dump all of this money into next season that you just surely can't afford anything? Like who? What are we talking about? All the talent pool that we're getting are very young players. Actually, let's look at Spurs salary. Let's see when a lot of these contracts in. Look at this. Next season you'll have $10 million off because of Chris Paul. We're still paying Jalen McDaniels. That's unfortunate. But okay, you'll have that about $5 million right there. So you got 15. Who are we paying right now? Okay, Patrick Baldwin. We're not paying him, right? Then we let him go. Oh, I guess we would be paying him. But yeah, it's quite a few players though that by the time you have to pay Wemby, you can see by the end of this, by the time you got to pay Wemby, yeah, we'll be fine, completely fine. Keldon, I don't know if Keldon still be here, to be honest. So Keldon to be off the books. Harrison Barnes won't be here. I mean, what's the rush? Why can't we give one more season? What's the rush here? Oh, you want more draft picks? What player is available right now that you think you can trade Devin Vassell for? What star player do you think that you can just make that happen? If he's as bad as a lot of people are saying he is, then you think that you'll be able to trade him? Especially after a down season? You're not going to get a star for Devin Vassell. That's just not going to... Cam Johnson? I'm trying to remember what they wanted. I think they wanted way too much. I think it was Devin, but it was also like Devin and a couple picks or something. It was too much. But if you're worried about picks, we're good. First round picks are very hard to come by, right? Someone's not going to just give you up their first round pick for Devin Vassell. More than likely after a down season. But we're good. We got our own. We got Atlanta's. We have Atlanta's for next year. What else we got? 2027. We have Atlanta's for 2027. Yeah, like what's the rush? That's my main thing. It's just what's the rush? Why are we so anxious about this? Let's give them a little time. I swear, guys, sometimes Spurs fans act like they're the ones paying these players. They're like, well, I'm paying him $29 million. You're not paying him anything. You're not paying him anything. I'm paying him $27 million. You're not paying him anything. You're watching the game like me. We're critiquing the game. Are you kidding me? Amadou, I love you, but you're a Wemby fan. You might be mentioning someone else, though. You might be talking to somebody else, though, to be honest. Oh, wait, no, you're... bro, there's absolutely a rush. There is no... Devin Vassell needs to play better. The only rush here is for Devin Vassell to play for himself so he has room for this roster for the future. There's no move the Spurs can make right now. First off, you can't trade anybody right now, but there's no move the Spurs can make right now to trade Devin Vassell and get some star caliber player. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. That's what I mean by there's no rush. There's no rush from the fans, and there's no real rush from anybody but Devin to make sure that he can prove himself by the time the Spurs are about winning again. And that would be, this season out to the end and into next season. And if it's not good by next season, then yes, the Spurs definitely are going to be thinking about some options, right? But there's nothing hindering us from improving our team by Devin Vassell being on this roster. There's no player I can really think of right now that you could just trade them and we just instantly get better. Is it even possible right now? I don't think it is. So that's what I mean by there's no rush. Is there a rush to win? Obviously, the Spurs want to win. You went and got De'Aaron Fox for nothing, mind you, which was awesome. But you went and got De'Aaron Fox. You want to win. You're setting things up to win, right? But there's a rush for Devin. There's still one more season here, one more slot here that the Spurs are, hopefully we're making the playoffs that year. But as far as being a contender, that's after 2026. So there is no genuine rush from fans to sit here and say, I demand a trade because I'm paying him $29 million. There's no rush. No rush for Vassell. No rush. There's no rush. There's nothing about Vassell being on this roster that's hindering the growth for this team. I just don't believe that. And to be honest, at times he plays pretty passive to begin with. And that's where when I talk about Keldon, I'm like, his play style can sometimes hinder the team, and it's very obvious when players are playing, pretty well together, and then he's kind of a sore thumb at times. Devin Vassell, not really. He blends right in. Sometimes he's pretty passive, but like if he's a third or fourth option, I just don't think there's anything that's like that we should worry about right now. There's no rush. I know it's frustrating that he's not playing that great, but like, look at who else is making about 29, 27 million, right? It's not like they're lighting the world on fire right now. Hold on. Let's see. What if I just said all NBA teams? That doesn't work. Player salaries. Here we go. Yeah, just some players that come to mind. So let's see. Let's go to 29. And keep in mind, his contract is going down. So 29, 27, 27, 24. And a lot of these other players that I will bring up aren't. They're making more money in the next few years. So DeJounte Murray is one in which he was horrible before his injury. I mean, god awful. Jordan Poole, his percentages are god awful. They're quite terrible. Jeremy Grant, his percentages are quite awful, pretty terrible. Let's see. And then there's Devin Vassell. Kristaps Porzingis is doing his thing. Claxton is good for what position he is. He does have a diminishing contract. Let's see. Miles Bridges. Yeah, I think Miles Bridges' percentages aren't crazy, especially compared to Devin's. So yeah, they like when people like just blatantly say that he doesn't fit in this range of like, no, look around the league. No, look around the league. Yeah, his contract is quite reasonable, especially in the next couple years, and I expect him to be better than he is right now. It's a pretty reasonable contract for who he is and what he's capable of bringing, You'll take Grant over Vassell any day? Have you watched Jeremy Grant play this year? Have you watched him? On a bad Blazers team, he's giving you 37.5% from the field. His field goal percentage is 37.5 on 14 points per game. Devin is shooting much better than that, and it's a down year for him. 37.5. This is what I'm talking about. Like, it's so quick. You're so quick because you're like, oh, that name. Oh, I would love him over Devin. I bring up Jonathan Simmons. I would love Jonathan Simmons over Devin. Bring up any player. Oh, I would love him. No, you don't. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. 37.5, bro. 37.5. Yeah, no. That's what I'm saying. So quick to say, oh, he's worth that money. No, it's just a name. It's just a name. And he's about to make more money in the next few years. It's just the name, bro. It's just the name. People say Jordan Poole. They're like, well, I seen Jordan Poole highlights. Yeah, he got some good highlights. He's not the defender that Devin Vassell is. Not to say Devin Vassell's a lockdown or anything, but he's a pretty good defender. And look at his percentages. Look at this. Look at this. Devin has better percentages. 41.8% from the field. Last year it was 41.3%. What are we going on about? What are we talking about? You know? J-Mo, Jonathan Simmons is not a better player than Devin Vassell in no capacity. This is just nostalgia, my friend. There is no context in which Jonathan Simmons, he's not better than Devin in anything. Nothing, nada, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Completely made up. He is not a better player than, why did he only last 4 years in the NBA? Oh, he just didn't get a chance? Stop. Jonathan Simmons is not half the player that Devin Vassell is. It's just nostalgia, my friend. It's just nostalgia. You remember the dunks, which I will say, you know, when you take it out of the playoffs or whatever, I think Jonathan Simmons has the best like regular season dunks in Spurs history. Like, oh my God. That one against the, you guys remember the one against the Trailblazers? We were losing the game. It was garbage time. But like, that was sick where he cocked it all the way back. And then the landing, that was sick. That was a sick dunk. He had hops. He definitely had hops. Maybe you could say he jumps higher. He jumps higher? Is that it? He just jumps higher? Dude, I can't even find Jonathan Simmons on ESPN right now. Nothing comes up. Yeah, nothing comes up. Hold on. It's just nostalgia, bro. Simmons is not better than... He lasted no time in the NBA. Okay, I can find him here. ESPN has him. Is this him? Okay, they got him. No context. No context in which he's better. Maybe you're thinking of the first season in which, you know, he shot 50% on 4 shots that he put up. That's good, right? He put up 4 shots and he shot 50%. That's pretty decent, I guess. 14.8 minutes per game and 6 points. That's cool, I guess. And then the next game, like you really believe that Jonathan Simmons could take on Devin Vassell reps and put up Devin Vassell numbers? Stop. Would never happen. His last season with the Spurs, 42% from the field, 29.4% from 3. Defense was subpar, right? It wasn't that good. He just played hard and he was athletic. I do like Jonathan Simmons, though. I did like Jonathan Simmons. Anyways. Awkward how those are Sochan numbers. What are we talking? These are not, Sochan numbers are incredible. What are you talking about? You talking about from 3? Also, Sochan is a way better defender than Jonathan Simmons and Devin Vassell combined. Are you kidding me? It's a much better player than Jonathan Simmons. There we go. And here we go. Jeremy Sochan's percentages have been actually pretty phenomenal, all things considered. So he is shooting more threes than Jonathan Simmons did his first year. So there's that. 54% from the field, 34% from three. He got to clean up that free throw percentage. I'm surprised he's only getting to the free throw line, only taking 2 a game. That's kind of crazy, especially how aggressive he is. Do we just not get calls? What is up with that? That doesn't make any sense, bro. He is all in the paint. And he finished through contact like all the time. He needs to complain more. I think he should cry more. More rebounds. So he's at 7 from 6 last year. Obviously, assists from all players went down when you add Chris Paul to the mix. Yeah. I genuinely do think Sochan's been phenomenal. Like for what he is and the positions the Spurs have had to put him in, like putting him at center, I think he's been really good. See, we're just making stuff. Okay, now I think you're just trolling me. You guys are just trolling me. Corey Joseph over Devin Vassell. You're just trolling me. I'm not looking up Corey Joseph stats. Screw you guys. You're just trolling me. Phenomenal? Yeah. For what you need from him, for his role for the team, yeah, I think Jeremy Sochan's been phenomenal. I think he's been quite consistent. I think that he has been a very good defender. I think he's been pretty reliable. Yeah, I mean, one of the best, the third best pick and roll scorer in the NBA currently. Versatile defender. Been guarding 1 through 4 quite well, actually. Yeah, I think he's been phenomenal for his role. I think any team would like to have a Sochan. I do believe that. Not phenomenal as in a superstar or nothing. I don't think Sochan to be a superstar, but yeah, he's been great. Yeah, you gotta put things in context, you know. I'm not saying he's been like Wemby phenomenal. That's a different type of phenomenal. See, Joe Wisekamp over Vassell. Yeah, just everybody over Vassell now. Sochan, solid player, very solid. Sochan is so replaceable. No, he's not Chandler. Chandler, all due respect, you don't know basketball. If you think Sochan is like easily replaceable, you don't know basketball. Look at the last teams that's won championships over the last several years. Everyone can use the Sochan archetype. Everyone. All due respect, you don't know basketball. If you say he's replaceable, then I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But sure, let's go ahead and struggle and find another power forward that can do what he does for no reason at all, just because we don't like him. Like, come on, stop it, knock it off. Tavarius, you don't know basketball either. I actually like Tavarius, so I won't go too hard on you. Sorry, he isn't Draymond. Okay, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what you think. You just told me, like, every take that you've had in the chat has been quite awful, Chandler. Like, every single one that you said is terrible. Oh, and I can see you got triggered here. You said, don't be a box score watcher, clan, because I've been calling you that, I guess. Yeah, I'm looking at some of your comments. Yeah, all of them have been. Yeah, pretty bad, my boy. Pretty bad, Chandler. You're better than that. You just gonna take that? Don't instigate. Me and Chandler cool. Don't instigate. Clan, don't say that. I don't care what you think is mean. It's true. When you tell me, like, when I say Sochan has been one of the most solid players, most reliable players on the team, phenomenal defender, can guard 1 through 4, has done a great job at that. Percentages have been crazy since last season. The fact that he upped his field goal percentage by 11%, upped his 3-point percentage by 4%. Well, I mean 3%. His rebounding is higher. I mean, he's making all the right plays. He's one of the top pick and roll finishers in the NBA. And I say all this, and then you're just like, oh, well, you know, he ain't that good. Like, I don't care what you have to say. What kind of response is that? Come on. Yeah, do better, Chandler. Like Amadou said, do better. Cutting in defense is easy to find, replaceable. Okay. All right. Tell me another player. Tell me another player that you would that you could easily just replace Sochan with. And then tell me how willing those teams are to get rid of that player. Cooper Flag. Wait. No. Wait. Hey, hold on now. Cooper Flag can coexist with Sochan. Come on. Nas Reed. No. Wait, Nas Reed isn't going to play the same role as... Sochan? Sochan can go back to his natural position. I'm getting tired of him being a center, bro. We had this man at point guard, and then we had him as center. I'm tired. I need him in that power forward position permanently. I need him starting in the power forward position permanently. All right. Yeah, Nas Reed's going to be nice. I really do think the Spurs are going to go after him. So, anyways, ending segment. That was long. That was like an hour segment, by the way. Big shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this long segment. My God.